The most basic logic behind successful entrepreneurship is that you have to solve a problem. If you do that, you might be onto something. That's not enough by itself, obviously, but that's a start. Let's see what problem PandaDoc solves for small and medium companies so you can learn from it for your own venture. So, PandaDoc allows you to create quotes, contracts, and proposals that you send to your clients. And you might think, wait, but I'm already doing that on Word, and then I send them PDFs. Well, it turns out that PandaDoc identified several problems with this traditional approach and decided to solve them. So, what are these problems? If you think about it, doing Word plus PDFs is a pretty time-consuming, not very optimized process. You open Word or Google Docs, you create a document or you modify an existing template, then you send it by mail and you expect your client to open it and sign it, either electronically or by printing and scanning. And the more clients you have, the messier it becomes. You can probably agree that it's a problem, but you might also say that it's not worth paying to solve it. Fair enough. Let's move on to the second one then. It's the fact that you don't know what your clients do with your proposals. Do they even open them or just ignore? Everybody knows that following up on a proposal is a key strategy to increase success rate. But in practice, when do you actually follow up? It's quite random, right? Maybe wait a few days or a week. How many times should you do that? It's all pretty arbitrary, but knowing what your clients actually do with your proposals and when can give you additional data points to decide how to follow up. And finally, the third and last problem that most businesses don't actually notice when it comes to documents is that their proposals are ugly. Yes, I'm talking about the visual design. Very often, it's once again those typical Word formatted documents. Some small and medium businesses do go a step further and hire designers to create beautiful templates that they can later reuse, but it's not the case for the vast majority. Although a beautifully designed document does make an impression. It's not just a formality, no, it's an important step in the sales process, and you can use it to showcase your professionalism. I know many stories when clients complimented their suppliers on the beauty of their proposals and their presentations. And of course, this does have an impact on their decision. Now, if you combine all these three problems and you create a solution to solve them, that's when you have something that businesses are ready to pay for. And that's what PandaDoc did. Inside their software, you can create your templates and drag and drop elements inside, so the creation process is faster than with the traditional methods. You can also include dynamic elements like videos, something that you can't really do otherwise, and it increases the value proposition. Of course, you can also pull all your data from your existing CRM directly. Then, PandaDoc provides you with many templates that have attractive designs, so you have it available right away. You don't need to hire people to create beautiful documents. So it basically makes nice design more accessible to SMEs. And finally, there's the data. You can see on your dashboard how many documents have been sent, how many were opened, when they were opened, how long they were viewed, how many were signed, etc. If you know that your client opened your proposal right away, it probably means that they were eager to receive it. This or otherwise opening it very late or not at all gives you information about how you should proceed and what you should say during your next call or email. So, all in all, PandaDoc claims that the document creation process is faster and that it saves hours of working time for employees, and that the nicer design of the documents and the analytics help to increase conversion rate. Finally, they also recently integrated a payment option which allows your clients to accept, sign a contract and pay right away. This way, they claim to shrink the quote-to-cash time for small and medium businesses by reducing the friction during the sales process. With all these value propositions taken together, PandaDoc does arrive at something that businesses are ready to pay for. As a matter of fact, they have been included in the 2020 list of America's fastest growing private companies. If you followed our business courses, you know that a good problem to solve should be frequent, that it should concern many people or businesses, meaning that the market is big enough, and that it should be painful enough to be worth paying for. If your business idea ticks this criteria, you're onto something. After that, you need to provide a solution which also should tick some very specific criteria, but I'm not going to go into details of this part in this video. If you want to learn more, just take a look at our courses in the description of this video. Everything is there. Finally, one last interesting thing that I want to mention about PandaDoc is the way they started their growth. Once again, if you watch my videos, I often show you how companies innovate on some of the blocks of their business model canvas in order to beat their competition. One of these blocks is channels, and channel innovation can be very powerful. And in my videos and in my courses, I mention and give examples of many different channels that companies use, and yet I never mentioned the one that PandaDoc used, which is HubSpot. Yep, so HubSpot has a lot of business clients using their software, and they have a sort of an app store where you can find many apps that can be connected to their system to do even more stuff. So PandaDoc is one of these apps, and because it's good and useful, existing HubSpot customers can look it up and download to try it. That's how they got a lot of new users, through HubSpot. Of course, now they have many other channels as well, but it's just a great example of how you can go a different way. Instead of putting all your effort into Facebook ads or LinkedIn marketing, maybe there's some other place, another channel where you can find an interesting source of new users. So, always keep that in mind. Before you move on, just one last personal word from me, and it's the first time I'm doing something like this. When it comes to this video about PandaDoc, there's also another reason why I wanted to talk about it, which is personal. PandaDoc founder Nikita Mikado was born in Belarus, and although it's an American company, they do have an office in Belarus as well. Recently, Nikita took a personal, honorable stance against the dictatorship in Belarus, and he did not involve his company into it at all. But as a retribution for that, the dictatorial regime in Belarus decided to raid PandaDoc office in Minsk and arrest several managers on completely fabricated charges. These people are now in big trouble. With this video, I want to raise awareness about what's happening in Belarus because I myself was born there. And even though I moved out when I was 8 years old and haven't been to that country since 14 years, I just can't stay silent when it comes to such abuse of basic human rights. The people of Belarus need help to set themselves free from dictatorship. And if you're interested in what PandaDoc is doing, I encourage you to sign up to their free trial and test it for yourself or your business. Again, that's just a personal favor I'm asking for as a way to support them through this crisis. Who knows, maybe you'll like their service and find it useful for you, because it is actually good. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, click on the like button to help it with YouTube's algorithm. Thanks for listening me out, and see you next time.